could have been anywhere in the YouTube world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. Welcome to Zay Reviews, and on this installment, we are talking about the 2022 Royal Rumble, which is going down this weekend. And I'm going to run down the card, go through my predictions and who I feel like are going to win their respective matches. You already know Royal Rumble season. We are on the road to WrestleMania. Royal Rumble usually has a short card since the Royal Rumble matches take up the majority of the pay-per-view time. So let's just run down the card and let's see what's going down. So first we have Becky Lynch defending the Raw Women's Championship against Dewdrop. Not much as far as the build for this match. There was a triple threat #1 contenders match between Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, and Dewdrop. And since Becky Lynch got involved and cost the other two individuals the match, Dewdrop would end up winning this triple threat, and this will set up the match for what we have at the Royal Rumble for the Raw Women's Championship. Now, my prediction for this match, you know Becky Lynch is definitely going to retain the belt. Dewdrop is probably going to have a nice showing. I really wish they would change her name back to Piper Niven, but this match is going to be a good match. You know these ladies are going to do whatever they could do to put on for the show. But Becky Lynch is definitely going to retain the Raw Women's Championship. I see her holding it all the way to WrestleMania. She's going to defend it at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. I don't know if they're going to have her defend it in a one-on-one or if they're going to have her defend it in an Elimination Chamber match. Hopefully we get an Elimination Chamber match for the Raw Women's Championship. But to be honest, when it comes to this confrontation, I see Becky Lynch retaining the title and moving on as her reign as Raw Women's Champion. Next, we have a mixed tag team match between the team of The Miz and Maurice going up against Edge and Beth Phoenix. Now, usually whenever The Miz and Maurice have these, couple versus couple bouts, they did it back when John Cena and Nikki Bella were together. They were there to just be the heels of the situation and to take the loss. And this is no different. You have two Hall of Famers with Edge and Beth Phoenix. They're teaming together for the first time. Edge rarely wrestles. He's doing this whole comeback tour thing. And whenever he does get his spots in, he's probably going to win. So, Edge and Beth Phoenix are going over in this match, no question. So both brands will have high-profile matches for each of their respective championships. Over on the Raw side, we will be getting a one-on-one confrontation between Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. This is a one-on-one that has been highly anticipated over the years. And once Bobby Lashley re-signed with WWE a few years ago, we all been wanting to see this match. Now that Bobby Lashley has gone through his run in UFC and in Bellator, and when he had his heavyweight championship run over in TNA, he looked like a top quality guy. But now that he's back and he's had the run that he's had in the year 2021, we get the match between Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. Now, Brock Lesnar matches are short usually when they're one-on-one because he doesn't have anyone else to bounce off of and to take up that amount of time. So we get this one-on-one match between Brock and Bobby. My prediction for this match, even though I really want Bobby Lashley to win this match, we know that Brock is going to go over. Brock going to remain WWE champion. I could see Brock losing the WWE championship in Saudi Arabia. I could see him losing in an Elimination Chamber match. Is this weird enough that he's the WWE champion and Roman is the Universal champion when that's the story that they want to tell? If they don't get the chance to tell the story of The Rock versus Roman, they want to tell Brock versus Roman. That's like the story that they always get to fall back on when it comes to the heavyweight division. And I still don't even know what they're going to do with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman, with all the time that he spent with Roman Reigns in a bloodline, and now he just out of nowhere decided to go back and be Brock Lesnar's manager. It looked as if they were going to have Paul Heyman turn on Brock Lesnar to join the bloodline again. Maybe a little inside man setup kind of job. I don't know. There's been a lot of rumors how they were going to play that storyline. But when it goes back to this WWE championship with Brock and Bobby, it's going to be a good match. And as much as I would love Bobby Lashley to win the WWE championship and become WWE champion once again at the expense of Brock Lesnar, we all know that Brock's going to retain. So my pick for this match is Brock Lesnar. Now on the SmackDown side, we get the Universal Championship confrontation with Seth Rollins going up against Roman Reigns. Now, I love the story that they're telling with this match. These guys with their relationship issues that they had in the Shield, and Seth Rollins being the one to break the Shield up. And Seth making a point that every single time that these two guys have crossed paths, Seth Rollins was the one to beat Roman. Back in 2016 when they fought for the WWE Championship at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, Seth Rollins won that match. When they decided to have the Fatal 4-Way to crown the Universal Championship after Finn Balor had to relinquish the belt due to injury, they had a Fatal 4-Way to determine the Universal Champion. And Seth pinned Roman in that match too. So every single time that they have crossed paths, Roman Reigns never got the chance to pin Seth Rollins clean. And with that being said, even though these guys are going to tear the house down, you could tell the story any which way you want to when it comes to these guys and their rivalry. I could see Roman retaining the Universal Championship because of the fact that he's never beaten Seth. And during this crazy run that Roman has had with the Universal Championship going on 400 some odd days now, I think 500 some odd days, he's had the belt for a minute. During this run, he's pinned Brock Lesnar when prior to that, he's never beaten Brock clean. So I feel like that during this crazy Thanos-like run that Roman Reigns is having, he's definitely going to beat Seth, and he's definitely going to retain the Universal Championship. And I could see Roman going into WrestleMania as Universal Champion. Now that goes to who I think Roman's going to fight at WrestleMania. SmackDown doesn't really have too many Universal Championship contenders, and whoever they do have, Roman is already beating them. So I don't know what they're going to do with that, but my pick for the Universal Championship title match is Roman Reigns. And now we get the double main event, the respective main events of the night. We are going to have the Women's Royal Rumble match and the Men's Royal Rumble match. So for each Rumble match, since the build this year has kind of been spotty, usually it's kind of obvious to whoever wins these things as far as the build goes. The closer it gets to Royal Rumble, we could kind of tell who's going to win. But to be honest, this year wasn't like that. This year wasn't one of the most predictable years. So for each respective Rumble, I'm just going to pick 3 people. And the reason why I felt like each of those individuals could probably win. So for the 3 individuals that I picked for the Women's Royal Rumble match, first of all, I'm going to pick Bayley. I feel like Bayley's going to come back to a crazy pop. She's been going for a minute due to injury. And I hope that she comes back with the same gimmick that she's had for the past couple years, some change, or before she got injured and left. The gimmick that she had when she had her rivalry with Sasha Banks. Bayley was just killing it, and I feel like her coming back and winning the Royal Rumble would be good momentum for her to come back and just to be up into that forefront, to just remind us that she's one of the 4 pillars of the women's division in WWE. My second pick would be Bianca. I feel like as far as all the women's contenders in WWE over the past year, Bianca has been on top ever since she won the Royal Rumble last year. And it goes to raise the question, who do you think is going to be the first women's competitor in WWE to become a 2-time Royal Rumble winner? We've seen it plenty of times with the men's Royal Rumble. I think it's like 6 or 7 people who are 2-time Royal Rumble winners or something like that. But with the women's Royal Rumble, I feel like with the momentum that Bianca has, it'll be nice for her to win a Royal Rumble again. Yeah, it'll be 2 years in a row, but I feel like she deserves it. She's had an awesome year. My third pick is Charlotte. The reason being because even though Charlotte is the current SmackDown Women's Champion, they decided to put Charlotte in this match. She announced that she was going to be in this match, and they made it a point to say that if Charlotte would win this match, she would get to pick her WrestleMania opponent. And I felt like that it was weird that they made that a thing. Like, I thought that was weird that they pointed that out. In the past with the Men's Rumble, Roman Reigns defended the WWE Championship during the Men's Royal Rumble, and they didn't say that, oh, if he wins, he gets to pick his opponent for WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar just a couple years ago competed in the Royal Rumble as number 1. And they didn't say that if he would win the Royal Rumble, that he gets to pick his opponent for WrestleMania. So I don't know. I feel like that it was very interesting that they decided to point that out with Charlotte. It wouldn't be shocking to me if Charlotte would end up winning. So my pick for the Royal Rumble, for the Women's Rumble, is either going to be Bayley, Bianca Belair, or Charlotte. And let's see what happens when it goes down. Now, for my final prediction on the card, we have the Men's Royal Rumble match. And you know what? My 3 for this, my first pick is going to be Big E. My next pick would be AJ Styles. And the build didn't suggest at all that AJ would win this. This is just simply me and my wishful thinking. You know, to me, it's still odd to see AJ Styles in WWE, even though he's been with WWE already for 6 years. It's been 6 years since he made his debut at the 2016 Royal Rumble. I still think it's awesome that AJ Styles has had the run that he's had in WWE. He's held almost every belt that they have to offer except for the SmackDown tag belts and the Universal Championship. So I feel like it'll be dope if AJ Styles would win the Royal Rumble and then go on to face whoever's the Universal Champion at WrestleMania, even though he's on Raw. But come on now. They have been ignoring the whole brand split thing for the past few weeks ever since this Royal Rumble build started. So I suggest maybe AJ Styles would be a good choice. Now my third choice, once again, is wishful thinking. But as far as build, it would make sense. And this has been rumored all throughout last year. But wouldn't it be nice if The Rock came back? If The Rock won the Royal Rumble, and then we will have The Rock versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. I would love to see it. It'll make sense with the whole tribal chief head of the table thing. You know, I run this whole Samoan dynasty thing. It can make Rock come out and they could set up this whole story of them being related, and then they could bring in the whole, you know, Samoan stuff, whatever they want to do with that build. It's a good generation versus generation match, and The Rock is the guy for the generational matches. We saw what he did with Hulk Hogan. We saw what he did with John Cena. And now it's once again another generation The Rock has to fight. The Rock versus Roman Reigns. Book it, man. Book it. I guess let's see what's going to happen this Saturday at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, going down at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on that Peacock app. So let's see what goes down this weekend. In the meantime, man, thank you so much for coming through the Zay Reviews. I know I've been gone for a little minute, had to handle some personal things, and I'm back. Glad to see you guys are still here. If you haven't already, please like, comment, share, subscribe, turn them notifications on, engage, and welcome back to the channel, guys. It feels very good to be back, and content is coming in the future. Thank you for sticking by. Until then, peace.